Can you believe the son asked for his inheritance from his dad who was still alive? Allow me to tell you the story of the parable of the lost son. So this dad has two sons, and we're gonna call the older one Eric and the younger one Dorian. And let's just say the dad is pretty loaded. But one day the younger son Dorian approaches his dad and asks him a single question. And he's pretty much just like, yo pops, can I have that inheritance I'm supposed to receive for when you're no longer living? Like, right now? Now, this is very disrespectful in their culture, as it basically implies he wants his dad to be unalive already so that he can claim his inheritance. So the dad obliges and gives Dorian his inheritance he's supposed to receive when his dad is unalive. And not long after, Dorian gathered all his stuff and left for a distant country. And let's just say he wasn't being the most savvy investor there. Well, he was investing, but not in what you would think. You see, he blew all his wealth, including his inheritance, on reckless living, indulging in self-pleasures until he had nothing left. And what do you know, a severe famine strikes the land, and now he's in dire need of a job in order to survive. And by the way, the word famine refers to a widespread of hunger and starvation due to a food shortage. So Dorian gets a job feeding pigs, and he's so hungry he even starts envying the pigs' food. He then says to himself, how many of my father's hired servants have enough bread and to spare, and I perish with hunger? As Dorian is reflecting on his situation, he remembers his dad's generosity. So he decides to return home not as a son, but as a servant, believing that he is now unworthy to be called a son anymore. And he plans to say to his dad when he sees him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So now we can see he's starting to regret his actions. Now Dorian travels back to his homeland and is still way off in the distance when his father sees him coming. So he runs to his son, embraces him, and kisses him. Dorian proceeds to tell his dad his apology, but his dad doesn't care. The dad says to the servants, bring out the best robe and put it on him, and bring out the larger cow and unalive it, and let us eat. For my son was unalive and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they begin to celebrate. Now the older brother Eric was in the field, and as he came and drew near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he calls for one of the servants and asks what this is all about. And the servant says to Eric, your brother Dorian has come home, and because your dad has received him safe and sound, your dad has unalived the larger cow. Now Eric was very angry and would not go in. Therefore his dad came out and pleaded to him as to why. So Eric says to his dad, all these many years I have been serving you, I never transgressed your commandment at any time, and yet you never gave me a young goat that I may enjoy with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours came back, who has devoured your inheritance with unfaithful woman, you unalived the larger cow for him. So the dad then says to his younger son Eric, son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should celebrate and be glad, for your brother was unalive and alive again, and he was lost and is found.